Welcome to Rges Pre-Algebra. This is lesson 11A, and these sections, 3.2 through 3.4, have to do with metric conversions. Now, the basic unit for length in the metric system is the meter. It's just a little over, just a teeny bit over the length of a yard. And so you kind of want to think the width of a doorway, a typical doorway. Volume, the basic unit, is a liter, and a liter is just a teeny bit larger than a quart. And you can hopefully picture a quart. So let's see, where were we? A liter is just a little bit more than a quart. A quart's kind of your typical large half and half container, or tall orange juice container, but not the big one that looks like a milk jug. That would be the gallon, right? Okay, and then the gram is a small unit. That's the basic unit for mass or weight in the metric system. And 1 gram is about the size of a paper clip. So often when we're measuring things, we're going to be thinking in terms of kilograms, or 1,000 times a gram. And 1 kilogram is about 2.5 pounds, 2 1/5 pounds. So that about 2 1/5 pounds. So this gives you kind of some scale to measure. Now, this next line, the basic unit in the middle, and the smaller units to the right and the larger units to the left, illustrates what you have already learned from last class, and that is from very small units, we have millimeters, centimeters, decimeters, meters. Now, of course, if we were working with volume, we would have milliliters, deciliters, deciliters, and liters. Same idea, just working with either meter, liter, or gram. But you do want to memorize this order, and I'll tell you why again in just a second. Going to larger than our basic unit, we have the decameter, the hectometer, and the kilometer, or the kilometer. Okay. Now, if this is your basic unit, you're going to divide by 10, making a smaller unit, so 10 decimeters go in to 1 meter. You'll divide by 100 for centimeters, so 100 centimeters are in 1 meter, and you'll divide by 1,000, so 1,000 millimeters are going to be in 1 meter. That's how that works, okay? On the other side, you would have to multiply our basic unit by 10. So 10 meters become 1 decameter. If I multiplied my basic unit by, I'm having trouble writing, hang on. There we go, get that screen to work. If we multiply our basic unit, a meter in this case, by 100, there are 100 meters in a hectometer, and there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So this is how we're going to do our conversions. Let me give you an example. If I want to convert from, let's say, 1 centimeter to meters. Well, for every meter, okay, centimeters are smaller than meters by 100. So I would have 100 centimeters in a meter, or if I'm converting that, I would have to divide by 100. So 1 divided by 100 would to be your decimal points immediately to the right of the whole number. I would move over 2 places, and I would have 0.01 meters. If I were doing it the other direction, let's say I had 15 meters, and I'm going to centimeters, I'm going to have more centimeters than meters, so I will have to multiply how many gaps or how many steps are there between a meter and a centimeter. There's 2 steps, or 2 zeros, or 100, okay? But I'm going to have to multiply. So I'm going to have to multiply or move to the right to make a larger number. Start with the number you have, and there's my decimal point. I'm going to move to the right 2 places. So 15 meters is 1,500 or 1,500 centimeters. So I can look at this a couple different ways. You multiply by 100 or you move 2 decimal places. Okay, let's do a couple more. What if I said 96.5 hectometers and I want to convert to kilometers? Well, how many steps are there between a hectometer and a kilometer? There's only one place, so I have to move one place value over or multiply. Well, do I multiply or divide? That's the other question. Am I going to have, is kilometers a larger distance, and so it will be a smaller number. Okay, so I need to move to the left one place, right? Or divide by 10. Either way you want to look at it, doesn't matter to me. So you start with your original number. You're making it a smaller number by one place value. So that becomes 9.65 kilometers. Let's look at another. What if I want to go from decameters to millimeters? How many places on my scale? If you think of the scale at the top of the page with meter in the middle, decameters here, right? And this would be decimeter, centimeter, millimeter. So how many places are from here to here? I need to move over 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 places. That would be 4 decimal places. Okay, and I'm going to get a much larger number. Why? Because these are very tiny. Millimeters are very tiny compared to decameters. And so you're going to have a lot more of them. So I will have to have a larger number. So I'll have to move my decimal point here to the right. Move it to the right 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll have 82,400 millimeters. Another way I could think about that is I'm going to multiply by 1, 2, 3, 4, moving over 4 places. So I'm going to multiply by, that's 3 places, 4 zeros. Okay, did I do that? I had 2 places to get to here and 2 more with my zeros. Okay, so hopefully that this is clear. It follows the same concept as when you were converting before with English measurements, but now it's actually much easier because all you're doing is moving your decimal point to the left. Okay, we move the decimal point to the left to make a smaller number. A smaller number. So that would mean the unit size is larger, like kilometers are larger than meters. The unit size is large, so the number of them would be smaller, right? And we move the decimal point to the right, which would make a much larger number, depending on how many places over I move. It's always larger by an order of 10 for every place you move over. And, of course, if it's becoming a larger number, my unit size is small. Okay. For instance, if I start with meters and I want millimeters, my unit size is very small, so I'm going to have a lot more of them. Okay, if I have 10 meters, I'm going to have 1,000 millimeters. Okay, did I do that right? Over by 3. No, if I had 1, I'd have 1,000. If I had 10, I'd have 10,000. So Hopefully this is clear. It's really the same kind of logic, but now we're practicing it with different units. Let's try a couple more. If I have liters that I'm working with, for some reason they capitalize when they're working with liters, so that's the case is supposed to be small, but the L is supposed to be large. And if I'm moving over to hectoliters, okay, this is moving one place. The unit's smaller, okay, so I'm going to get a larger number of them. I'm going one place to the right, so this will be 70.2. Let's do another. If I have 738 centiliters, and I want to go to decaliters, this unit is larger from centiliters to decaliters. If you're thinking about your chart, you're going over one place, right, to deci, 1, 2 liter, and another. So I'm going over 1, 2, 3 places. And because this is a larger measurement stick, okay, so to speak, it's volume, but a larger container, you're going to have less of them. Right now, if there's no decimal point, it sits right to the right of the last value, and you're moving it, what? To the left to get a smaller number of decaliters. So it's going to be 0.738. Okay. Moving on to mass, no difference in my thinking now. Okay, if I have 0.5 hectograms and I'm moving to grams, I'm moving over two places. And do I want more grams? Will it be a larger number? Yes. So I'll have more. So I will multiply or move to the right. Okay, I'm kind of showing you a couple ways to think about it. So I move over one to get to the, move it over once to get to the right of the 5 and another to get it, okay, to get the second place. So it's 50 point or just 50 grams. So work out those. Hopefully you'll do a good job on that, and we'll see you in class.